Hey everyone, it's John from Suns Out Productions. This video I'm going to I've been wanting to do this for 2 years since I picked up my Ultimate 2021 Elantra. I'm going to finally mostly cover my opinions, my feedback on the big design conversion from the older design that you're seeing on the screen to the newer design for the Elantras. While my main focus is going to be to review the design change, I'm also going to review my most liked and least liked features of the newer design or the newer model that I have, which is the Elantra Ultimate with the sunroof and tech trim. My 2019 Elantra was also with the sunroof and tech package. Actually, no, it was sunroof only. No leather seats and no tech upgrade. My 2019 Elantra was the GLSE model. So I can't compare basically an Macintosh apple to a Red Delicious apple, Macintosh from 2019 to a Red Delicious from 2021. So that's not the goal of this video. It is primarily to comment on the massive design change while still talking about a lot of the features that maybe aren't worth it for buyers, features that don't really benefit me, that I'm not really happy about, and also the features that I am really happy about. It is possible then, so keep in mind, it's possible that the equivalent model of 2019 may have had the features that I'm going to discuss as appreciating in my new model. That doesn't necessarily mean it is a feature of the new design, of the newer design models. It's possible that the equivalent model of 2019 also had some of these features. I'm not exactly sure. So we'll have a quick look at the specs on the 2019 trims, and you'll see the fourth column here is the trim that I had, the GLSE. So you had the 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, 147 horsepower, 6-speed automatic transmission with Shiftronic is the one I had with the Shiftronic manual mode. Down at exterior, spare tire was in the trunk, under the cargo floor. I know my current model has that. I don't know if the base model has the spare tire still under the cargo floor. However, my Ultimate that I have today with the upgraded the tech package, does have that still. I do still have the automatic headlights. I really enjoy that. LED running lights are very different in the new model. We'll get into that later. Tail lights as well. Okay, for the interior, 60-40 split folding rear seats. I'm going to give some of my thoughts on this. The new version or design has the same situation or issue that I find with the folding rear seats. The front seats for the height adjuster. I'm not a small person by any means. I'm about 5'10", and I have my seat pumped all the way up, and I'm really surprised it doesn't go higher for people who are smaller than me. I really wonder what the reason is for this huge loss of sales. Okay, and as for multimedia, iPod USB auxiliary connectivity, it was great to have my first car where I could connect my phone, and it was really interactive and hands-free. Had that voice command, Bluetooth hands-free phone system, which is the third line down there, or sure, third feature, Bluetooth hands-free and phone system. That worked really well, and it still does. And I think it's really convenient and a great innovative technology that avoids a lot of accidents. Because the button, the voice command button, is right on the wheel, and I know a lot of makers, a lot of cars have this feature nowadays, and I think it's fantastic. Probably one of the most important features in cars these days. I've had no issues actually. I've compatibility. I've had the system crash, not recognize my phone many times in both models, in both, years, 2019 and 21. I don't know if it has to do with software updates or just compatibility with my Apple phone. However, that has been a pretty consistent issue until the last several months. I haven't been having that issue anymore. So hopefully, it was a software compatibility. I don't know, licensing issue that's been addressed recently with Hyundai. Good job on that. Thank you. And audio system. So not the second row, or the third row was with the XM feature. MP3 audio, AM, FM with 6 speakers is what I had in 2019, and still today. I have the one, XM compatibility or availability, and I love the XM radio. I've been a subscriber ever since my 2019. And I'm only mentioning this as a suggestion or a recommendation for people who like their music, but maybe aren't big fans of other apps where music is on demand and high quality. That is the number one thing with XM is the quality, and it just keeps going and going, and it's more live. I like that component where you feel there's still that old kind of radio feel with hosts and live DJs. They also live festivals around across North America throughout the year on like BPM and Diplo's Revolution, and so I've really enjoyed having that, and I'm glad they still partner with XM to offer that. This sound system is just phenomenal. I have had no complaints. I have not complained, and I've had no complaint, nobody comment on any issues with the sound quality in these cars. So keep up the great work on that. The rear view camera I've been really enjoying. For the first time in 2019, I started with the rear view camera. And at first, I didn't really see the benefit. I thought it was just a waste of money, basically, until I started getting used to it and really appreciating it for more than what it's worth. For it's the benefits compared to the benefits that can't be had with the regular just rear view mirror viewpoint for the driver. So it's great to see how the tech's evolved from just the sensors, earlier on, and then eventually to having a camera there where we can see what's there backing up. So it's great to still see that in the new design. We'll get more into this stuff later on. I want to touch on the screen size. Has been good enough for me. I don't need a bigger screen. It's just right, I find. And other than that, CarPlay I do have my quirks with, but that is nothing to do with Hyundai and Google Maps as well. But maybe that'll be a different video. And other than that, as far as media, the wireless charging station or pad, I'm not sure the correct terminology, is not included here, and I feel there are a number of features not on here that I'll remember as we go on and mention, and it's too bad they're not included. However, the wireless charging pad was in my 2019 car, and it is still in my 2021. I believe they're still in the 2024s. And I do not use it. I did not use it from early on, just for the reason that there's not a lot of compartment space, and I use that space as valuable space for me for other storage, other items. And so I have actually a phone holder outside of any of the few limited storage compartments there are in the Elantra. The connection is also not very great. The charge speed is a bit slower. I find the phones, when I was using it, my phone heated up a lot more than through the wired connection. So I don't really find a purpose for that, and I hope it's not costing us a lot more to have included in our car, in our Elantras. And other than that, I think that's it for the multimedia. In regards to the interior trim, sun visors with vanity mirrors, the leather-wrapped shift knob was a better shape. I prefer more rounded shape shift knob for the Tiptronic option setting. It's just more, I don't know, comfortable to use, rounded, and the newer one is more of a flat kind of shape, which is odd and not commonly found in most cars. I'm not sure if these shift knobs are removable and modifiable, so I wouldn't, in that case, see this as a huge issue. If you agree with me and are impartial or not impressed with this change of shift knob shape. HVAC, I've really enjoyed the automatic climate control, which is pretty standard in the new versions, the more recent productions. I've really enjoyed that. It's a great innovation for climate control in cars. The heat doesn't just keep running; it actually controls itself once it reaches a desirable temperature. Moving further down our list, the heated leather wrap steering wheel. I love the heated seat and wheel options, and I believe they were included. It was. It seems like it was the heated my GLSE of 2019 here. However, I'm not a fan of the design of the new Elantra wheels. I was disappointed when I first started driving the new design in 2021. Obviously, overall, I'm still satisfied with the new design. However, this particular feature is a setback for me, and I wish they hadn't made the steering wheel as uncomfortable to handle. And you'll notice as you're turning mostly, there are certain grips that you just can't do anymore on the new wheel, the wheel of the new design. There's more sharper edges, sharper contours that really restrict how you can control the steering wheel. And we'll skip down to the convenience section here. Remote keyless entry system has been fantastic ever since my first Elantra, the 2019. I've been really enjoying this. It really helps a lot to not have to dig for your key in your purse or in your jacket to enter, and I'm glad they still have this feature in their Elantras. Down from that, the smart trunk I am actually growing on. I'm getting more and more used to and more appreciative of that feature. Now, the adaptive cruise control I did not have on my 2019. However, I have now, and I really appreciate this feature. It is just amazing. I go on a lot of longer road trips, and I'll talk more about that later for those of you who also do like to do your longer road trips. The shortfalls with this car, the new design on long road trips. However, having that feature, the adaptive cruise control, is probably one of the biggest convenience or tech features that the Elantra has to offer. It really takes away a lot of the hard work in highway driving. There's a few points there regarding compartments, storage compartments, and that is just one area where the Elantras do not impress myself with when it comes to storage for front cabin, driver and passenger storage compartments. Moving down here to the safety department, airbags, anti-lock braking system. So my 2019, I had a pull-up e-brake feature, and my current 2021 has the button, if you will, the pull-up electronic e-brake, which I'm not really a fan of. Is everyone likes to do donuts. We all like to do that, and we can't do that with the pull-up e-brake. Actually, in the newer version, even newer than mine, they brought back the pull brake. For those of you, I think just for those who like to do their donuts. No, I'm not exactly sure why they brought it back, but I know they did. And I will say, though, I don't know if it's because I'm driving an upgraded trim, but the e-braking system with the new design in my newer model, I mean my newer Elantra, is much better when stopping at an icy intersection. Much better. Huge difference. Okay, the blind spot detection with lane change assist is amazing. Anything that helps us see our blind spot more than we do is very helpful, and obviously less need to turn head every time we change lanes. Rear cross traffic alert. I believe this is also when we are in reverse, and rear cross. Yeah, it wasn't as much of an issue for me with my 2019 model, although it shows here that it was equipped with this. In my 2021, I did disable this feature because it would jam on the brakes, exiting a parking spot with a car approaching like 50 feet away, like really far away. So just no use for me. Autonomous emergency braking with pedestrian detection, fantastic for all those texters and drivers out there, myself not included, and excuse me, and lane departure warning system with lane keep assist, also fantastic for all those texters. I mean, coffee drinkers and people distracted with music and kids. Rear park assist system also fantastic, especially in those for those spots that are more tight and with a nice concrete post in them and stuff like that. I want to quickly add when I was talking about the rear view camera, the reverse camera being fantastic. I love the lines that help you guide. And they change colors when you're doing good, and I really really like that. I really love that. And they really help to get used to the reverse camera feature. And last here we have fuel economy. I'm the bottom row, automatic transmission on my 2019 city highway combined liters per 100 kilometers, so 8.3 liters per 100 kilometers in the city driving, 6.4 highway driving, and 7.4 combined. And just to recap, that was on my 2-liter 4-cylinder 147 horsepower GLSE Elantra. Okay, let's go through the rest of the brochure for this 2019. So you got the rear view, side view, front view. Okay, and the widths and lengths, height. We'll take a closer comparison look at this later on. I'll share my opinions on the main differences that impact me or that I like between the old design and the new one. Accessories. I never got floor liners with my 2019. However, with my 2021, I did get them included. I don't know if it was the dealer or Hyundai that started throwing these in for my trim package, but they are fantastic. Trunk space. You'll notice when we look at the new trunks on the new design, the opening at the top of the trunk is much more narrow, allowing you to not fit in the same table size or any objects with the same width in the new design. And last but not least, the last page we have our warranties, which I believe are the same. 5-year, 100,000 kilometer bumper to bumper, and then the unlimited roadside assistance. On page 4, you had this nice picture of the cabin, the front seats of the 2019 older design, and some other pictures of the dash and heated seat and steering wheel. Colors are next, and they were some pretty nice colors. However, I much rather prefer the newer colors that we have. And last but not least, the rims. I had the middle set there, the middle rims. I really like them, and I do miss them. I liked that color. I liked that they were monotone. I liked that they were different, not the usual chrome or gunmetal black, matte black, or shiny black, or stainless steel. They were something different, and they were a beautiful design that was not tacky or cheap or not suited to the car. I think they went really well with with that older design. And I'll talk a bit more about that once I get into my sixth gear on what I think about the new design. Okay, now we'll compare the features of the new Elantras, and we'll look at the 2024 offerings, because if you're watching this video and you're not Hyundai, you're likely watching it to get a new 2024. Nonetheless, I'm sure the offerings for the 2024 are pretty similar to my 2021 and the years in between. My understanding is I would have the luxury package only because it has the leatherette seating surfaces. I believe my seats are real leather, but this makes me wonder now. Anyway, that's the only real difference. So I guess Bose upgraded premium audio sound speaker system, 8 speaker instead of 6, wireless charging pad, which I don't use. I guess there are a couple of other differences here. The finish, exterior belt line molding, and LED integrated side mirror turn signal. Yeah, so that is more closely resembles what my car is. Currently my 2021, the trim that I have on my 2021. If we look at the preferred tech package, I'm looking at the screen size has gone up a lot in size. Again, not something that is really a priority for me. I found, the smaller size, like my 2021 is a smaller screen size, which I'm completely fine with. Interior lighting is really cool. That is something that is becoming more and more popular. I'm actually thinking of it was one of the first things on my list to upgrade, like to modify my car with LED, different colors that I could change from inside the car, um, underneath, under lighting. Um, I find that really cool, not too bright, not where you could see the lights because that's tacky, but different color lighting, ambient lighting, interior or exterior is, I think, going to be coming around more. It's just something popular. A lot of people are putting in their houses that we're seeing, in places recently, in places we never used to. Um, Sunroof I have in my 2021, just like I had it in my 2019, and I couldn't do without a sunroof. Um, Blue Link, okay, so the Blue Link is just awesome. It's just amazing. I love that, and it's so convenient. For example, if you're meeting a friend, I've met friends so many times and left my car and forgot to lock my doors, and instead of having to turn back, I can just do it through my phone and get the confirmation that I successfully locked my doors. And that's just an example. Like, this thing is so handy. It's really cool. It did have its hiccups. Um, closer to the beginning. It wasn't always working and stuff, but I find it's been working better with the more recent updates. In addition, we have safety features, blind spot, collision avoidance assist, a lot of this same tech, safety features from 2019. But my 2021, I believe, because it is the upgraded trim, has that semi self-driving feature. Where is it? The forward collision, smart cruise control with stop and go, and the highway driving assist. So the highway driving assist, I believe, is the one that actually turns your wheel around long turns on the highway. As the highway curves, your car will actually stay in the lanes and turn the wheel up to like 90 degrees in slow turns, gradual turns. Obviously, stop sign and red light 90-degree turns, it doesn't do on its own because it won't automatically slow down to zero and then proceed again on your behalf. But on the highway, it will almost go to zero. I actually never used it going right to zero in traffic. I wouldn't do that because the delay is still not not accurate enough for severe traffic. But the otherwise is the smart cruise control with stop and go. It stops and goes basically. That's not very accurate kind of name for it. It's more like a slow and go feature, where the car in front of you on the highway drops down pretty quickly, from say 100 to 50 kilometers. Your car will follow that while maintaining the same gap that you can specify. It'll slow with the car in front and then resume and accelerate again with that car in front, which saves so much of the attentiveness or the responsibility of attentiveness that we otherwise will need in long road trips. Especially, it comes in very handy. And so this is one of those features I was saying is awesome for those of you who like your longer road trips. But again, this is we're not getting into yet the meat and potatoes of my review, and I'm sorry it's taking a while to get there, but we're almost there. and and that's more kind of the shortfalls that are taken from the design aspect. So these features are great. Don't get me wrong; they're fantastic. It's just the design has costed us a lot of practicalities, a lot of maintenance work and more as a result. So yeah, the highway driving assist will also steer the wheel while slowing down and then resuming and accelerating again. So I really love those features, and I guess yeah, my car that's descriptive of my car. So the luxury package would be basically where I'm at in 2024. I also noticed the rear center armrest with cup holders is only on the luxury trim. And, I remember my 2019 was a lower trim with the tech sunroof package, had double seat back pockets. I don't understand what it costs Hyundai to put seat back pockets for some extra, holding space, compartment, organization. Like they're literally elastic mesh, pockets that are fastened to the back of the seat. So it's sad to see those on their way out. Especially considering the less than preferred amount of storage space in the Elantra. What else did I want to mention? So I like how they laid out the features in this year's manual or brochure for the Elantra. I don't know if they've been doing this for a few years now, but it does simplify things a bit. It's a different way to see the differences between the trims. I also noticed in the Essential, the 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, same size engine, and different drive modes, idle, stop and go, 4-wheel disc brakes, spare tire. I don't know where it's located in the 24, but most likely still under the cargo mat, the trunk mat. Wheels are smaller in the Essential, which is standard, which is usual, and LED headlights is cool, although everyone seems to like those in the reviews. But this review covers the more important stuff, stuff you're not going to find in other reviews. So on that note, hit the like button, please, and let me know what you think in the comments. Heated body colored side mirrors, black painted front grille. Okay, so the LCD instrument cluster display, that is new on the new design. I'm not impartial to that. I have no kind of position on the LCD display at this point. The touchscreen is the 8-inch older size. Not much older size. I have that in my 21. I believe it's an 8-inch, and I have no issue with it. Again, 4 speakers only in the Essential, Bluetooth hands-free phone system, which is critical, essential, definitely essential there, this day and age. And heated front seats. So that's cool. They include heated seats now in the base trim. AC, um, power windows with driver's auto down, dual USB ports. So that's it's okay. So it's not very surprising they're including Type C now. And I believe they have in the rear, so dual rear USB port Type C. So it's cool to see the Essential has something in the back seats, because my 2019 had vents in the back seats, and now my 21 Ultimate has absolutely nothing behind the center console for the passengers in the back seat. That was a huge disappointment to me. Not huge because I don't have kids, but sometimes if I'm giving rides, or when I was driving Uber with my older model, that did come in handy for the passenger in the back. And all these safety features we discussed earlier are just fantastic. The forward collision avoidance, and then the speed limit warning and assist is a new feature. That's interesting. I wonder how much it screams and whether or not it is manual, can be turned off manually. I don't see any indication here of the brake the brake suggestion feature, where if you're driving a bit wobbly, it'll scream at you and tell you to take a coffee break. Very annoying, and it's one of my dislikes in the new design, the new tech coming with this with the Elantra, and unfortunately cannot be shut off in my 2021. I don't know about the more recent years. Lane departure warning, haptic steering wheel feedback, lane following assist, high beam assist, driver attention warning, rear occupant alert, tire pressure monitoring. That is really cool. That I also saw for the first time in my 21, which I really appreciated. However, with the winter tires, obviously there's no gauges, or there's no nothing inside our winter tires, which are unless I guess they're from Hyundai, but mine aren't. So during the winter months, I have a light that comes on and telling me to check my my pressure sensors, tire pressure sensors, because they just don't exist. They're in my storage. Rear view camera with dynamic guidelines. Those awesome guidelines I mentioned earlier. So that's pretty much it for the 2024 Elantra guidebook. All right, on page 10 of the brochure for 2024, we have the much nicer color options for the Elantra. We have more, I think one or two more interior color options, but only for the upgraded leather trims, unfortunately. And I'll talk more about how the new design also makes the one interior cloth color option less appealing for Elantra drivers. The new rim designs, I am also pretty impartial. I mean, I have the third one there, the 17 alloy two-tone. And at first, I was not a fan in 2021 when I picked up the new one. And I was thinking about how I can make it one color, a one-tone rim, either all silver or all black. However, I've pretty quickly changed my mind on the design. I thought at first that it was pretty cheap looking, tacky, too overcomplicated. However, I quickly got over that. At first, I was actually a bigger fan of the lower trims, gunmetal, the black single color gunmetal option. And I was thinking of maybe trying to trade with someone with a lower trim. However, I ended up changing my mind and just appreciating the art in the set that I have. Accessories. I actually installed my own hitch on my Elantra. The floor mats I told you came included with my car, and the trunk you can't really see here. How it's a bit more narrow than the older design. Last, we have the warranty, which is not changed, still 5-year bumper to bumper, and the unlimited roadside assistance. All right, now I'll finally get into my thoughts on the design of the Elantra starting 2021. I'm very opinionated on it because I feel like it was a big change, a huge change, and I'm sure a lot of Elantra drivers like myself have really been maybe giving their feedback, maybe shying away from driving Elantra. Maybe they've tried it and couldn't get used to the new design and got rid of it because the changes are just so vast, impactful to the whole Elantra driving experience. So I wanted to share mine and kind of give like a dedicated section of my review to my thoughts on the design. So I'll start off by saying that the design is beautiful. It's very sleek. It's very sharp, and just it's a work of art. It's the aerodynamics of it. It's very sports like, and hence it being designed by a former Lamborghini designer. And when I learned about that, I definitely appreciated it a lot more. Not that I didn't appreciate it already. I've always appreciated it, which is why I bought the car that I have. It's just there's give and take, unfortunately, with designs like this and practicality. So I feel that this new design really came at a great cost of practicality, and I didn't really, you're not going to notice a lot of this stuff doing a few, test drives. So as time went by, I guess, the benefit of doing the review later than sooner is a full overall, long-term assessment over a long period of time of my thoughts about it. So yeah, it's more sleek, sharp. It's very sleek and sharp looking. So from the exterior, I'll start off with my thoughts on the exterior. There's a side plastic decal which is probably the first thing you notice looking at this new design from the side, which is a bit cheap looking. I also I understand that the car is not lower at the back for practicality reasons, for everyday driving reasons. And I know it would definitely look a lot nicer if it was dropped a bit in the back. I think the end line is lower in the back. I feel like if the back window, if the window, the bottom of window line trim where the chrome is, if it didn't slant up so much, it would be a bit nicer if it was lower. If the back end wasn't lifted so much, because it can't be low, the suspension. It doesn't help that the angle from the front also angles pretty high upward, and that design decision also costed the the narrowness of the back window, which makes it a lot harder for us to see, through the rear view mirror. Moving at the back, I think is beautiful of the exterior, the new design, aside from the big Elantra decal. I like the overhang lip at the top of the trunk. I think that's really cool, really nice. All in all, the brake lights, design, it's all beautiful from the back, aside from just the Elantra decal, which I've been wanting to remove and I still haven't. I get it why Hyundai would want to put big, bold, shiny, bright decal. What kind of car it is, so that more people will buy it. But I feel like obviously, as drivers, we don't want everybody else to have the same car. So it was just a bit disappointing to see the model name much bigger than it used to be on the older designs. I like the glossy finish on my car. I don't know if it had to do with the factory or the year or even the dealer. So that might not be anything to do with the new designs from Hyundai. Also, the blind spot. So because the angle goes up significantly from front to back, more than the last models. Sitting in the back seat, there's less window to look out. I mean, a kid would have to be bigger than before, and which could be a good thing, for safety as well. However, for driver blind spot vision, this is definitely one reason. Another reason why having that blind spot assist is beneficial. So going off, so from the back, I guess I'll mention the smaller trunk loading, the smaller trunk loading space, the opening space. I often transport small foldable tables, and there's one table I have that doesn't fit in the new design, and the trunk opening is more narrow. The front grille, I originally wasn't such a fan, or the whole front end. The big Hyundai symbol, again, not a fan. I'm still not a fan. The grille, I wasn't really a fan, and I really grew on it. I'm not as much of a fan of some of the newer varieties that I'm seeing, where the shape has changed. Really takes from the design of it, but mostly the complexity. It's not as consistent. The front grille is not as big anymore that it was in the old design and in the new design until recently. What the ones I'm seeing, they're divided in half now, and more complicated, more complex is tacky looking and cheap looking to me. So not really a fan of some of them. Some of them are really nice as well. I know there's a new N line that is really nice. And other than that, the day running lights, and there's actually chrome. There's stickers on the front fender that are kind of like chrome. They're not chrome. They're like metallic kind of shine to them, a reflective shine. However, they chipped. They didn't last more than a few weeks before big chips started appearing. And so I've been driving with that now for, pretty much the whole time I've had the car, and it's a big disappointment. And I had my car in for service for window issues, and one of them was changed. For my bumper I hit an animal last spring, and when they did that service, obviously they had to replace one side of that, and because it wasn't the dealer that did it, they didn't replace the other one. However, I did bring my car in as well for a window issue, for my windows that were having issues going up and down, and the mechanic who assessed it mentioned that they're changing these faulty stickers on the fenders. But then when they ordered the parts, they didn't end up ordering me the replacement stickers, which was disappointing. And I may address that still with Hyundai. I have a couple of other issues that I'm dealing with, which is rear camera and issues, and I think there was one more that I had to check out, go back in to have looked at. So I think I'll be bringing that up because that should have been a recall, and it is not acceptable. You don't see brand new cars on the road with big defects like that on their front bumpers, or anywhere on the exterior of the car or interior. Moving on from that, unfortunately, when it's raining, is one time when the windows can't be open anymore. In the older models, you used to be able to get away with having the windows open a little bit if it was raining while driving or while parked. Now it's practically impossible because the top of the car is much smaller than say the bottom. So the windows slant inward. So the top of the window, if you were to open it, sits over the inside of the car. It's not a vertical 90-degree vertical window. It's further from 90 degrees than the last design, which is very noticeable in that if it's raining, a lot of water comes in. Also, if you turn the wipers on with a lot of rain, water, or snow, a lot of it will come into the car. So rain deflectors are very necessary for this new design. It's just not as practical as the last one, which didn't really need these rain deflectors for these reasons. Also, you can't, I live in Canada where it snows and ices, and we usually will lift the wipers off the windshield so they don't stick and freeze and break when we go to clean the windshield. And these wipers, the hood of the car, prevent them from being lifted when you if you have to park your car outside overnight, or there's calling, or you're at work and there's freezing rain or something on the forecast. So just as the rear window is more narrow, making it harder to see behind, it is also more slanted, making more sunlight exposure, opening the surface of the above the trunk, behind the headrests of the back seat, is it's black surface area, which is more exposure to the sun than the previous designs, causing more heat, more sun exposure, and greenhouse effect in the car. And the same goes for the front of the car, in that the windshield is more slanted, not more narrow, but it is harder to see the road. It feels like maybe we are further from the road in the newer design. But the biggest difference made and the biggest setback for me is the exposure to the sun in the summer while driving and while parked. And again, another accessory that is becomes mandatory during hot summers, hot weather conditions, are the sun visors, the full windshield, blackout covers to prevent so much exposure. And I think we did have different color options, but only in the top trims. Still today, in the 2024, so you need only the top trims have those gray, and I don't know I forget what the other option, the color is, off black, which won't be as hot in the warm weather. One disadvantage for us in the cold climate countries is the hole. There's a hole, pretty big hole, from the engine compartment into the driver's side, where the brake pedal enters through the floor. Is a pretty big hole where a lot of cold air comes in through the winter, driving or parked, quickly, cooling the inside of the car. I really hope they address this issue in the newer years. Just going back to the roof size, with the sides of the car, of the new design, being more angled and coming inward more, or overhead for the driver and passenger in the front, really creates less headspace than I feel we had in the previous design. Like I said, I'm 5'10", and although I would like to pump my seat up more, I would probably hit my head in another inch or less of space above my head. So again, it just begs the question of how many sales were lost because of this less practical, nicer design, that wouldn't be as comfortable for, say, smaller people or taller people. I think the middle crossbar is really cool. It's different, part of the new design. The door panel quality, uh, very lots of plastic. It's very fake looking plastic. I think like the faux leather look doesn't look very real, but more so just the big. It's a big piece of plastic, which in the older design, I believe, was a smaller piece, and more of the door was fabric, which is more comfortable. And if you tap the plastic, it's hollow, which makes it feel even more cheap. So I'm glad. I know that this has been changed. This has been improved, and they've reworked this door panel plastic. It must have been a big feedback issue that they were hearing, or just something that they themselves regretted and didn't like, and kind of went back to the previous, more closer to the previous design. The leather seats that I have, at first I thought they were cool because I was excited to get my first leather seats. However, they're bucket seats, which are more for racing, and they're not comfortable for road trips longer than half an hour. Also, they're full of holes, which easily fill with dirt, as you can imagine. It's pretty frustrating that you upgrade, you spend more on leather, and otherwise they should be great comfortable seats, but they're pretty hard and they're curved shaped, like buckets, so they're not good for the back, and the holes make maintenance much harder, and they embarrass us if we aren't on top of the maintenance with guests in the car. And that shouldn't be the case with paying more for upgraded seats. The seats barely recline. They don't recline all the way back to the back seats, which is, I think, something that's becoming more common nowadays, which is unfortunate. There's nothing like the good old days when we would just, even having a sunroof like I do, to just park and try to look at the stars, and the seats don't even go back all the way is very frustrating. Disappointing. Storage space in the front driver and passenger area, I find, is less than the previous design, and I think a big part of that has to do with the middle console change, the big changes, where there's a lot of buttons there now. I have my rear view camera there, my e-brake, different buttons. I do like the shiny gloss, black shiny glossy, material used around the shift stick and in the middle console there. However, it is black and flat like a table, and it's always dirty. It's dirty immediately after you clean it because of the static that's created. The glove compartment is definitely smaller in the newer design, which is I don't understand why. It's too small, and it's the first car I've actually ever owned with a glove compartment that I actually noticed. I actually was disappointed about because it's how small it is. The new decals. The new decal left on the dashboard. So in my model, the 2021, it's pretty cheap looking. But however the even newer ones are really sad. I don't know what they were thinking. That's probably got to be the biggest disappointment of the front interior. It's like apparently a sticker. Or a laser, what is it? A laser print job of like a fake gauge. It kind of looks like a fake gauge or something. Really cheap looking. Really unfortunate. That could be maybe another cup holder or storage compartment of some kind. Or just something plain. Bring like part of the dash. Bring the dash down on that side or something. Instead, it's like a hollow, cheap plastic material with it looks like a sticker now. And my last comments for the tech of the car, the newer features. I like that in the newer years after my model, they finally put a compass on the Elantras. Yay! I think this is now pretty dated feature that should be standard for cars. Not everybody uses their cell phone or has data package or wants to use CarPlay and such. So I think that was a very good idea to add. And what disappoints me is the auto shut off. So if you leave your car running after about 45 minutes, it'll shut off automatically, which I'm not a fan of. We do have drive-in theaters, for example, that in the cooler months, it would be nice to keep our car running. Well, you're there, you're monitoring, so you press the OK button and it extends the run time to another 45-minute time frame. Also say, sometimes in cold climates, like if we're sleeping over at a festival or a friend's place in the car, with the back seats down, it is otherwise there's lots of space for that. But with the auto shut off, you have to keep waking up through the night if it's a cold one, to keep it running. And that should be something that people have the liberty to I don't mind the seatbelt alarm. But that is the auto shut off is something I find a bit invasive, or I guess limiting, and so therefore a turn off. So I mentioned the coffee break alarm that can't be shut off. I recommend that be changed. It's a bit annoying, if we're on long road trips, we're not going to be super alert, and these things will keep this coffee break suggestion notification will keep popping up, and it can get pretty annoying. Um, uh, I I like that it basically it's semi self driving. It's not exactly self driving like a Tesla. My upgraded tech package on my Ultimate is a huge jump from my 18. I always get confused. 2018 Elantra. In that, like I mentioned earlier, with the highway driving, there's just so much help, that it really takes a lot of the energy burning, I guess, wheel um, tugging, through a whole trip. 10 hour, 15-hour trip, 8 hours, 6 hours. Like I do them all. So I really appreciate having that. There is work to be done, and faster reactiveness, responsiveness, such as in traffic situations. However, for long country drives on highways that are relatively straight, not much traffic and lane changing. It's fantastic technology, and that speaks to a few of the assistive, features, driving features in the upgraded packages. Tire pressure monitor reporters, electronic reader is great to have. I do see value in that, and the separate passenger climate control, I believe it was in the 2018, if I'm not mistaken. But of course, fantastic feature to have in our cars nowadays, just as much as the auto climate keeper option, which turns the air down or off when your desired temperature is reached. Awesome. And the new e-brakes, yeah, I do like my donuts, but um, I do prefer having a better emergency braking technology. I find with the manual e-brakes, they're not as effective, but that could just be me. One other big significant limitation or setback for me on the new Elantras is, at least 2021, I'm not sure if they corrected this, is the internally circulated air option when the car is on, and say the heat is running or the air conditioning, and you don't want to be breathing the pollution from the exhaust from all the cars around you. You can only keep the circulated air option under certain settings, and even still, if you keep it on and that's your preferred setting, it'll reset every time you start the car, which is pretty annoying. Sometimes within a 20-minute drive, I'll hit the circulated air button 4 or 5 times, which is really frustrating. Mind my ignorance here, but I really feel it should be a no-brainer that if it's cold outside or really hot and the driver doesn't want to open their windows, also if there's lots of pollution, that we should be able to protect ourselves from that pollution outside by keeping this option for recycled interior air, cabin air, refiltered, blocking out outside polluted air if we're sitting in traffic or going through a really polluted city or something like that. Okay, moving to the back, I mentioned that my 2019, not 2018, had vents and no cup holders, no charger station, charger port. And I'm aware that the newer years have USB-C ports, which is better than nothing. My 2021 upgraded Ultimate has nothing, which was a disappointment. The bottom section of the back seats, which the portion that you sit on, that portion to extend the trunk and to bring the seats down, the bottom portion that we sit on should fold forward. I used to have a Mazda that had, and I've been in other cars. I know there's most brands where the bottom part folds forward, so that the back part, that where we rest our back, that we lean back on, when that comes down, it goes flat to be flush with the trunk mat, right? With the bottom of the trunk, the cargo mat of the trunk, to make it a flat, consistent trunk extension, at the same level, more or less than right, because now when you drop the seats down, they're still propped up by the bottom part of the back seats, and so it doesn't really add much, as much extension space. Also, the opening between the trunk and the back seat, when you open the extension, when you bring the back seats down, is made very narrow. It's much more narrow now, and I'm trying to understand why, and I can't figure it out. If you have any idea why this is, can you put it in the comment section below? It's that's also been a disappointment, as far as how much you can fit that extends from the back, from the trunk to the into the car. And the last opinion I want to share with you about my 2021 is regarding the overall drive of the car. It's definitely a lot smoother and quieter. I was actually really amazed and relieved, excited, all of the above, when I first started driving the car, and when I first picked up the car, and my first several weeks, I was really amazed at the big difference in, I guess, suspension and sound barrier engineering and materials that were probably used on the newer Elantras. So I hope that is still the case with the years following my year, 2021. And I also hope it's not just something characteristic of higher trims. Moving on. So that's pretty much all my quarrels with the new design and change in features from my 2019 to my 2021. And I'll just finish off with some recall information, malfunctions, and recommendations for Hyundai. I would say recalls there's been a few, and I believe one of them was related to a buckle clip. It was a minor recall. Malfunctions, I mentioned I have rear camera issue when in reverse. I had window control issues. I've had climate control issues. I've had to go in multiple times for climate issues and have multiple parts replaced. I have an audio issue where my audio will just shut off randomly until I turn the car on and off. Maybe several hours later, not immediately after the issue surfaces. And recommendations. For Hyundai, I would recommend definitely more compartment space for driver. More specifically, I would like to see a ceiling compartment for glasses, for sunglasses. I think every car should have those now. I think they were one of the best innovations for in regards to compartments in cars, organizing, and protecting our sunglasses, or even reading glasses. Passenger cup holder somewhere that would pop out of the dashboard above the glove compartment would be awesome. I always have my second cup holder full of different pens and markers and chapstick, different accessories, different things that I need. And it's always a hassle when someone comes in the car trying to make room for their coffee. Other than that, I would definitely recommend Lamborghini doors and a passenger eject button. So when we... No, I'm just kidding. All right, guys, that wraps it all up. And we are at 68 minutes. Wow. For those of you who lasted this long, thank you so much. I hope it was worth your while. Please let me know your experiences, what you agree or disagree with, and any other comments you could think of in the comment section. I would be excited to read them and reply to them. Also, if you could like this video and or subscribe to support my work and my channel, I would really appreciate it. Thank you and all the best.